I'd like to call the meeting for Monday, March 10th, 7 p.m. Fairfield City Council to order. Please stand for Councilmember Davidson for leading us in prayer and pledge of allegiance.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight with grateful hearts, seeking your wisdom and guidance as we gather to serve our community. Thank you for the opportunity to lead, to listen, and to work towards the betterment of our city and its people. Lord, we lift up in gratitude the brave men and women who serve as first responders, our police officers, firefighters, paramedics, and all those who stand ready to protect and care for us in times of need. We ask for your hand of protection over them as they work tirelessly, often sacrificing their own safety and comfort for the well-being of others. Strengthen them in body, mind, and spirit, and remind them that their service does not go unnoticed or unappreciated. Grant us as leaders the wisdom to make decisions that promote justice, peace, and prosperity for all. Help us to work together with humility and respect, always seeking the common good. May our words and actions reflect your love, grace, and truth. Lord, bless this city and its people. Guide us in unity and purpose, that we may always strive to serve with integrity and compassion. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman Davidson. Madam Clerk, we please have a roll call.
Councilmember Davidson.
Here.
Councilmember Brill.
Here.
Councilmember Bessel.
Here.
Councilmember Paulus. Councilmember Pennington.
Here.
Councilmember Kraft.
Here.
Councilmember Myers.
Here.
Make a motion to excuse Councilmember Paulus.
Second. We have a motion and second to excuse Councilmember Paulus. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Agenda modifications, any for tonight? Seeing none, the agenda will stand as written. Do we have any requests for executive session this evening?
Yes, we do, to consider the appointment, employment, or compensation of a public employee or official.
We need a motion for executive session.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for executive session. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Councilmember Davidson.
Yes.
Councilmember Brill.
Yes.
Councilmember Bessel.
Yes.
Councilmember Pennington.
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft.
Yes.
Councilmember Myers.
All right, we will move on to special presentations. I believe we have two special presentations this evening. First is Mid-American Soccer Classic with Mr. John Harmon from the Fairfield Optimist Club.
Good evening, and thank you. For those of you who don't know me, I'm John Harmon. I've been around for probably about longer than anybody in this room, I think. A current member of the Fairfield Optimist Club, and I've been on the executive committee for the Mid-American Soccer Classic since it was a 4th of July tournament back in the day. So been around a lot longer than I thought I would be. At any rate, we're ready to go. Our dates this year are April 4th, 5th, and 6th. We're coming up in about 3-4 weeks. We currently have 384 teams registered, which is pretty much on par with what we had last year. We're going to have 62 divisions ranging from 8 years old to 18 years old. We'll be serving several states coming in from out of town. We will have Michigan and New York State for the first time in a couple of years. And for the first time in a great number of years, we're going to have teams in from Canada. We're going to be using fields at the Optimist City Complex on Joe Nuxall Way. There'll be 20 fields there. The Joyce Park Complex on the same road system, 20 parks, 20 fields there. A new venue for us is going to be Fairfield Youth Football on Grow Lane across from the Joe Nuxall Miracle League. And we're probably going to have 5 fields there. We're also going to again use the Fairfield Youth Fields on River Road. There'll be 2 fields there, and Fairfield High School will have 2 fields there. We have a backup plan. If we need it, we can access the turf field at Ross High School if we have to do it. We will begin play on Friday evening, probably around the 5:30 time frame. We'll be using just the Optimist Complex and the Joyce Complex at that time, but there'll probably be 2 games on each field at that time. We're working on additional parking and traffic signage It's a program we started on last year, and we're going to try and improve upon what we did last year to make it that little bit better if we can. The cooperation we had with the city with the electronic signs that were placed on River Road and both entrances to John Uxall Way helped us tremendously last year, and we're looking forward to that again this year. We're also going to have the rear gate open that comes past the sewer treatment plant to get access from the Fairfield youth fields back into the Joyce Park area. We are not advertising that to the attendees. It's only for us local folks who know that it's there. We don't expect the traffic on Grow Lane and River Road to be much more intrusive than it is for a normal baseball youth weekend at the Fairfield Youth Football Fields. We are going to direct traffic that's got to move between the parks to use River Road and Grow Lane and not use the internal gate inside Joyce Park. Field layout and numbers are still in a state of flux as we make sure we've got the right field sizes for the different age groups, so we're still working on that. But I think we're pretty set on how many fields are going to go at which location. I met with one of my associates with the police department, the streets department, the parks department, and some other departments of the administration or the city a couple of days ago. I do want to point out that the cooperation level we get from all aspects of the city departments is tremendous. It's a big help to us. Last year we had a meeting with them again when the term was over to kind of go over any problems that anybody saw that developed, and we're going to be planning on doing that again this year. One of our areas of concern is that the parking lot at Fairfield Youth Fields on River Road is very small. We have reached an agreement with the Fairfield City Schools. We're going to use West Elementary. Last year we did that. We put a lot of signage up telling people that that small parking lot is just for drop-off only. Park their cars at West, walk back down to the fields. The signs also state we're requesting that people do not park on the city streets. And I understand from talking with the streets department and the police department, those signs were paid attention to last year for a strange occurrence. So, economic impact. This is a difficult one to figure out. We do have some numbers that were provided by the Butler County Travel, and they're based through a system called the Destinations International Tourism Impact Calculator. Whatever that means, I don't know. Indications are that in 2023, the economic impact was about 2.3 million on the weekend, and the last year when we were a little bit bigger was about 2.4. In reality, I think the impact is actually greater than that, because the calculator is based on hotel room nights, and a great deal of our teams come from Southwest Ohio, Northern Kentucky, Southwest Indiana, and they're not in the hotels. So I think the impact is probably, I wouldn't say considerably more, but larger than the numbers that have been generated by the Visitors Bureau. And that's pretty much it for this year. We're pretty much ready to go. Our steering committee's got 2 more meetings planned, and then it's play ball. So basically, does anybody have any questions of me?
John, I see your signs are starting to go up, right? That's fantastic.
Yeah, the streets department is very cooperative with us. We've enjoyed a good relationship with all the city departments over the years, and it's very, very helpful for us.
They look great. What do you need from council? Anything?
I really can't think of anything. This is really more informative to make sure you know what's going on and see what kind of questions you guys have coming back. So, but I might take you up on that at some point in time, Tim.
Anytime.
Yeah. I think one of our biggest goals as we move on to the future is to probably increase the involvement of the businesses in the community. We may start getting into a program of dedicating fields to a business name and stuff like that. Of course, it becomes a moneymaker for us, but it requires the cooperation of the businesses and stuff like that to make that happen. So it's one of our future plans. One of the biggest problems we've always faced in this, I've been in the Optimist Club since the 80s. We have never had a marketing person in that entire club the whole time I've been there. And even though I'm pretty good at speaking, I'm not a marketing person, so I'm just a talker. So, okay, any other questions? I'm going to do a little more advertising while I'm here, and I'll be brief. We have an annual program with Fairfield City Schools. It's coming up on April the 29th. We invite the entirety of Fairfield City Schools special ed to the Optimist Club. Buses start rolling in at about 9:15. We will have, well, last year we had 175 kids from the special ed program. The school system also provided for us over 175 seniors to act as big brothers and big sisters. We cook lunch. We bring in flubs for after lunch. The kids are involved in puppet shows, sing-alongs, games out on the fields and stuff like that. But the big event that occurs down there when we do this is the fishing derby. And we have 100 rods and reels, and we have a lot of guys in our club who like to fish. But along with the help of the seniors from the school, that's mostly what the kids do. If you have an opportunity to come down, set up for Tuesday, April the 29th. Rain date would be May the 1st. It's a fun thing to come down and watch and just see the kids. We give out little trophies if they catch a fish. It's just a lot of fun for everybody. So come on down. Thank you.
Is there a time?
The buses start rolling in about 9:15, and the kids are there shortly after lunch. The buses have to come back, say around 1 o'clock, because the kids have to get back to their schools to go home on their regular bus routes. So I say if you can come down between 9 and 1, you're going to see pretty much the whole effect of the deal. So it's a lot of fun. We actually set up a dedicated crew of about 8 or 10 Optimist Club members in what we call the pit area. All they're doing is repairing poles because they get down the hill by the fishing lake and the kids start casting, and we tend to get little bird's nests, and we get bundles of poles coming back up the hill that have to be sorted out and restrung. So, but it's fun. It's probably the most fun event that we run the entire year. So come on down. Thanks.
Thank you, John. Okay, the second special presentation for this evening is Danny Crank from the Butler County Recorder.
Thank you, members of council, for giving me just a few minutes here to talk about a card that hopefully all your homeowners received this past weekend. Thank you. Glad you have it. I just got back from San Antonio from a conference with the Property Record Industry Association, where we spent 3 hours talking about deed fraud in our conferences out here. I'm not going to talk to you tonight about deed fraud, but if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. But I am going to talk to you about this card. And the reason that we developed this card is because for the last 3 years, every time I was out talking to people, they want to know if their property was safe because they see LifeLock on TV telling them their real estate's going to be stolen. So we developed this card to let people know that they can record put their property in our computer, and anytime something happens to it, you will be notified the very next day. And I'm going to turn this over to Denise Gall, my chief deputy, to explain to you how this system works. Okay, Matt, I'll be done real quick, I promise you.
Thank you. I did bring some additional information. It's similar to the postcard, but we are handing these out to constituents that come into our office because there is a place to write down their email and their password when they set it up, put it on their fridge, important papers. Basically what our property alert system is, you go to the county recorder's website, you can use the QR code on here. You're gonna go in and you're gonna register for an account. So it's your last name, first name, email, and a password. That gets you registered. Then you are going to set up for a property alert. You can do this by your last name, first name. You can also link it to a specific parcel as far as a lot number. So if you own lot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the city of Fairfield, and you can locate your deed, you can actually attach it to a specific parcel as well. You can add your spouse. If you have elderly parents or something like that, you can also monitor their property. One of the things I would like to bring up, for example, like we have Tim Myers here. If you were going to set up your account, you would probably want to do Tim Myers. You might want to do a Timothy Myers, different variations like that. But you can go and you can set that up. And if you have problems, you can come up to our office. You can call us. We pretty much today, first day out, we pulled pretty much our entire staff over just to answer the phones. It was crazy. We dropped 95,000 of these in Butler County. So you can only imagine what we're going through, but we're going to get through it. We think it's a great program for Butler County. What you will realize if you do get a notification out there, if you get an email because something was recorded in our office and we index that document, it doesn't mean your property was stolen. It might be you were fortunate enough to pay off your mortgage and the bank sent through a release of mortgage. So the email's going to have on there that a document was recorded with the Butler County Recorder's Office. It's going to provide a date, a time, a book and page, and a phone number to contact us. And the staff will look that up and they will tell you, what type of document it was. A lot of people are doing transfer on death designation affidavits. It's not altering your deed, it's an additional document that is being recorded, but you might not realize that we're indexing that against your name, so you could possibly receive an alert because of that. The stuff that you see on TV is basically an insurance policy that you are buying into. They are actually scraping the data from Butler County. They don't pay us for that data, they're scraping it in the background. And so a place like Title Lock where you get something like that, you're actually gonna get notifications sooner from us. We are not, your legal authority on that. If you believe it is something fraudulent, we would suggest that you contact your local law enforcement, whether it's Fairfield City Police Department, the Butler County Sheriff, to have it investigated and have them look into it. And then also contact an attorney to see what's going on. So, any questions?
Denise?
Yes.
I registered for it the other day. It took me 5 minutes to do it. And it's pretty cool because the document that you prepared for me, Steve, with the trust and all that all shows up and with all your properties and everything on it. It's pretty slick.
Yes. And I did have a constituent that called today and she said, well, I don't need to worry about that because my property's in trust. And I said, well, you can still go in and, if you're Jane Doe, trustee of the Doe Family Trust, you can still set an alert on the trustee's name and that, so you would still receive notification. And if you can't figure out how to attach a specific parcel of property to it, if you call our office, we can help guide you through that and even provide a book and page reference to link that document directly to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For those of us who have family in surrounding communities, do you know if there's outside of Butler County, if this is available as well, the Hamilton County?
There are several counties that are doing it. I know Warren is, Montgomery has a program, Hamilton County has a program, pretty much most of Southwest Ohio. They have been talking about passing some type of legislation to mandate that county recorders around Ohio have some kind of similar program. I've been with the county, it'll be 33 years in May, and I haven't seen anything like this, like as far as fraud in Butler County goes. What we typically see are family feuds, family squabbles. They have an elderly parent, grandparent, and it's the children or the grandchildren fighting over things. That's where we see what people consider fraud. It's not a problem in Butler County. We're just trying to be really proactive on this, so we make people feel safe and that something is being monitored in case they need that.
That's great.
I'd like to thank you for your service. And Dan, how many years do you even want to say that you've been
She's
recording?
been there longer than I have.
He inherited me.
But I've been there, this is my 25th year.
Yeah, and thank you for your
I'm
service.
not sure, I have to have Denise check this, but I think almost the longest running recorder in Butler County history. So if I'm not there yet, I'm very close to being the longest. And the person that I will be taking out is Earl Hogan, and I live on Hogan Drive. So how ironic is that? Crazy.
But you've always been in the real estate world.
Well, I think my first closing, I used a quail pin in real estate. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
He was my manager at Goodyear Realty. So we go way back. And then I had a question about, there's 3 Debbie Penningtons. So how does that work?
So when
One
you
won't
sign
pay her
up,
bills and the other one's,
well, and when you sign up for a notification, you could get a false positive.
yeah,
You could get something that's filed under Debbie Pennington.
okay.
And in that case, you would want to contact us. And we can look at that document and let you know, this is a different piece of property. This is a property out in Liberty Township. Do you own that property? And then you would know that, no, that's not my property, and that's the incorrect Debbie Pennington. I mean, if you go back to like the name John Smith, you could get a lot of false positives when you have a very common name.
Yeah, and it's Deborah S., and it's spelled the same way, 3 of them. Thank you. Thanks for
Great.
coming
Thanks,
tonight.
council, we appreciate
Thank
you a
you.
whole bunch.
Thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
tonight.
I'm gonna leave these over here. You can put them in the planning department, wherever, if you wanna hand them out to any constituents or just make them available. It has all the information on here. Thank you.
Perfect. Again, thank you very much for coming this evening. We'll move forward with citizen comments. Do we have any citizen comments that would like to come up and present? If you do, please come to the podium. Seeing none, time for council reports. Anybody have any council reports this evening they'd like to report on?
Thank you, Vice Mayor Kraft.
Yes, ma'am.
Couple announcements. Community Blood Drive will be hosted at the Fire Department headquarters on Nillis Road on March 17th from 2 to 6. Appointments can be scheduled by calling 1-800-388-GIVE or by scanning the QR code in the March-April Fairfield flyer. Second one is brush collections begin in April and runs through October. Refer to the routes in the March-April Fairfield flyer to determine when crews will be in your neighborhood. And finally, applications to participate in the City of Fairfield Residential Tree Program will be accepted for the April 1st start date of the program. Residents can receive 50% copay up to $200 by purchasing a tree from either Myers Garden Center and Landscaping or Lakeview Garden Center and planting it in or on their property. Call the City Public Works Departments with any questions. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Got one. Public Works Utility, or the Public Utilities Department is hosting an open house at the city's water treatment plant on Saturday, April 12th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Residents can tour the facility, learn about the water treatment process, and learn where the city's drinking water comes from. To date, we have 38 residents who have RSVP'd, and any residents that are interested can email the Public Utilities Department to participate in the open house.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I have a couple things.
Yes, ma'am.
First of all, I wanted to tell you that the Crystal Classic is this weekend. And you can get tickets online, you can get them at the door, and the Fairfield High School will be hosting, and they do a performance at the end. There's going to be schools from local and coming out from all areas, so it's always a great event. And Ron DePifanio, he always was there, and he always, talked about it. My granddaughter, she was in it, and she's still, so she was telling me today, Anna, be sure and tell them that that's this weekend. So the other thing is I wanted to thank the West School first grade. I got to read a book, Duck for President, and it was Reading Across America last week. So I got the opportunity to read to the first class, and it was my daughter-in-law, Devin Pennington. She's a first grade teacher of theirs. So they were so excited, and they sent me all thank yous. I got all these thank yous from them, and they were just so cute. So you do have an opportunity if you have a few minutes. They love for people, especially people that are elected officials. They love it when somebody comes and it's a big deal over there. And lastly, I wanted to say for the Public Works, construction has resumed on Route 4 sidewalk project. The construction will continue working on this project in March and into April to wrap it up. And the ARPA funded sidewalk will provide pedestrian connectivity for most of Route 4. That's exciting news. So that's all I have. Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Yeah, thank you.
Just two quick items. One, if everyone would please continue voting daily for the best of Butler County. The voting does run through March 13th. And also, Marsh Lake will be getting stocked tomorrow for the spring season. This past weekend was the second weekend they've been open, and they will be open 7 days a week starting April 1st.
Fantastic. I just had one announcement, got a chance to attend the Ready Conference with the Development Services team this last Thursday on behalf of Mayor Rodas. And it was a very cool event. Selfishly, it was very cool and very rewarding because we have two businesses inside of the city of Fairfield that were nominated and won awards this year, Schneider Electric as well as Pacific Manufacturing. So again, just a huge congratulations to both of those businesses. A big shout out to our Development Services Department for the work that they do, just a tremendous amount of involvement that you guys have with the businesses in the city. Just want to say thank you for that. It was evident and obvious that these businesses feel comfortable here, so thank you, sir.
Vice Mayor, I got one other thing I forgot, and
Yes, sir.
I just completely, I'd get in trouble if I didn't do it. Tomorrow is my daughter's 7th birthday, so happy birthday, Lennox. She's gonna be watching, and
happy
I told her to
birthday.
watch, so.
You're not in the hot seat anymore. That's good. Second that.
Lennox.
Any public hearings this evening? Hearing no public hearings scheduled this evening, we'll move on to the approval of minutes. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the minutes presented for the regular meeting? If none, we'll let the meeting minutes stand as approved and written. Moving on to old business.
We
Oh,
do
sorry.
have special meeting minutes also included on that. If you want to call for that, I apologize.
No, it's okay.
I think there are items 1 and 3 under approval of minutes. You did the regular, which was item 2 of those, so. you can Ask for relating to the 2 special meeting minutes. Unless they aren't on, are they on my agenda and no one else's?
They're on mine.
Okay.
I have no additions or deletions.
No.
Great. For the special meeting minutes, we'll let them approved and stand as written as well.
Thank you.
Great. Appreciate the call out. Moving on to old business. Old business for development services. There's an ordinance amending ordinance number 166-84, the codified ordinances of Fairfield, Ohio, section 1130.01B2, the city of Fairfield, Ohio, zoning map. This is the third reading, and I need to make a motion for adoption. We have a motion and second for adoption. Comments from council? Comments from audience? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. There's also an ordinance to authorize the city manager to execute a development agreement with the Fairfield City School District Board of Education, Cincinnati Holding Company LLC, and a Hillwood Development Entity relative to the redevelopment of the former Forest Fair Mall property on Cincinnati Mills Drive and declaring an emergency. I'd like to make a motion to suspend the second and the suspension of the second and third readings.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to suspend second and third readings. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And a motion for adoption, please.
Second?
We have a motion and a second for adoption. Comments from council? Comments from the audience? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, I was.
Sorry, I
I
apologize.
was just gonna
You gotta be quick on your feet, sir. Moving right along.
You were
back.
quick there, Adam, I like it.
Sorry, sir.
I think this is something that's been long in the works for quite a while. My children, essentially, grew up there at, Forest Fair Mall at that time, and, it's bittersweet, but, we're moving forward, so. Moving forward, and, may not be perfect, but it is a next step towards progress, so I'm looking forward to it.
Well said. Anyone else? Comments from council? Comments from the audience? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I'd like to make a motion to read all new business by title only, please.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to read all new business by title only. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. For Community and Public Relations, Councilmember Brill.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Kraft. I have a simple motion to approve the following 2025 boards and commission appointments effective April 1st, 2025. Anthony Raw for the Board of Zoning Appeals, term expiring March 31st, 2030. Carol Mayhill, Civil Service Commission, term expiring March 31st, 2028. Megan Murray, Parks and Recreation Board for the First Ward seat, term expires March 31st, 2028. Mindy Mueller, Parks and Recreation Board, Fourth Ward seat, term expires 3/31/2028. Don Hassler, Planning Commission, Second Ward seat, term expires March 31st, 2029. Scott Lipinski, Planning Commission, Fourth Ward seat, term expires 3/31/2029. William Bittinger, Income Tax Board of Review, term expires March 31st, 2027. And Carl Wildo, Income Tax Board of Review, term expires 3/31/2027. Just like to say, we had a lot of great candidates come out and interview for the board, so a lot of great volunteers in our city, and we just thank you for all these people for volunteering. That's all I have.
That's great. Thank you, ma'am.
That was the motion, so we'll need a second and a call.
So we have a motion and a second for the, motion to approve the following boards and commissions for 2025. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Public Works, Acting City Manager Seckenheim.
Thank you. We have 3 ordinances tonight for Public Works. The first ordinance is to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Choice One Engineering. Choice One will survey, research, and develop right-of-way plans between West Crescentville and Bob Meyer Road. This work will aid in the design of future improvements and in making development requirements based on right-of-way location and other related considerations. The second ordinance is to authorize the city manager to execute a contract with Fishbeck for preliminary design of a replacement structure for the Augusta Boulevard Bridge. The existing bridge is a multi-plate arch structure built by the developer and accepted by the city in 1978. Recent inspections have shown deterioration. The third ordinance is to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Naira Paving for the proposed sidewalk along the east side of Route 4 between Donald and Hicks. This project will provide a sidewalk in compliance with ADA regulations. The sidewalk will create a continuous path along Route 4 where none currently exists. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Seckenheim. Councilmember Pennington.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'm having trouble, excuse me, with my throat. The first ordinance is to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Choice One Engineering for the right-of-way research for Route 4. I want to make the motion to suspend the second and third readings.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to suspend second and third readings. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for adoption. Comments from council? Comments from the audience? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
The second ordinance is to authorize the city manager to execute a contract with Fishbeck for preliminary design of the replacement structure for the Augusta Boulevard Bridge and declaring an emergency. I want to make a motion to suspend the second and third readings.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to suspend second and third readings. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And motion for adoption.
We have a motion and a second for adoption. Comments from council? Comments from the audience? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And the third ordinance is to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Naira Paving for the proposed sidewalk along the east side of Route 4. Excuse me, and that's between Donald and Hicks Boulevard, and declare an emergency. I'd like to make the motion to suspend the second and third reading.
We have a motion and a second to suspend second and third readings. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for adoption. Comments from council? Comments from the audience? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next is Finance and Budget, Acting City Manager Seckenheim.
Thank you. We have one resolution and 3 ordinances tonight for finance and budget. The resolution is to approve and adopt the 2025 to 2029 capital improvement program. The CIP provides City Council with a comprehensive 5-year plan of capital improvements. The total 5-year plan is approximately $151.2 million. The first ordinance is to authorize the issuance of not to exceed $4.758 million of various purpose bond anticipation notes. These notes are a reissuance of debt-funded capital projects in the Public Utilities Department incurred over the last 8 years. The second and third ordinances are for appropriations. Contractual appropriations total $2,164,669 and include 5 projects in development services and public works departments. The non-contractual appropriations total $169,322, and include 5 projects in the public utilities, public works, and fire departments.
Thank you, Mr. Sackenheim. Councilmember Myers.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. The first item is a resolution to approve and adopt the City of Fairfield, Ohio 2025 to 2029 Capital Improvement Program. This time, I'd like to make a motion to suspend second and third readings, please.
We have a motion and a second to suspend second and third readings. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. Motion to adopt.
We have a motion and a second for adoption. Comments from council?
Yeah, see, I did get that.
That was
quicker.
much faster. I appreciate that.
I want to thank Mrs. Davenport and the entire staff on a very well-run and thoughtful process, especially around the way the priorities were set. Every dollar is prioritized, it's evaluated by the staff, and it's really gone through quite an elaborate filtering process. And I think it's phenomenal that put all that thought into it. All of it ties into our strategy, ties into the vision of council and the execution of the department staff. So well done.
Comments from the audience? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. The second item is an ordinance authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $4,758,000 of various purpose bond anticipation notes, Series 2024-2025 renewal by the City of Fairfield, Ohio, in anticipation of issuance of the bonds and declaring an emergency. I'd like to make a motion to suspend the second and third readings, please.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to suspend second and third readings. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. Motion to adopt.
We have a motion and a second for adoption. Comments from council? Comments from the audience? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. Third item is an ordinance to amend ordinance number 158-24 entitled an ordinance to make estimated appropriations for the expenses and other expenditures of the City of Fairfield, Ohio during a period beginning January 1st, 2025 and ending December 31st, 2025. This time, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the second and third readings, please.
We have a motion and a second to suspend second and third readings. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Motion to adopt.
We have a motion and a second for adoption. Comments from council? Comments from the audience? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. The last item is an ordinance to amend ordinance number 158-24 entitled an ordinance to make estimated appropriations for the expenses and other expenditures of the City of Fairfield, Ohio during a period beginning January 1st, 2025 and ending December 31st, 2025. I'd like to make a motion to suspend second, third readings.
We have a motion and a second to suspend second and third readings. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for adoption. Comments from council? Comments from the audience? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, sir. Madam Clerk, will you please read the meeting schedule?
Monday, March 24th, council manager briefing 6 p.m., regular meeting 7 p.m. Monday, April 14th, council manager briefing 6 p.m., regular meeting 7 p.m. Monday, April 28th, council manager briefing 6 p.m., regular meeting 7 p.m.
Fantastic. At this time, council will now recess into executive session.